Alright, gamers across all of YouTube, welcome to this week's video game highlights where I round up all the interesting news that happened within the gaming industry that at least interested me, and I hope you will find interesting as well. If you guys like this video, do me a favor and like this video. Please consider subscribing, as we do this every single Friday where I just grab all the news topics that, again, I think are interesting. And without wasting any more time, let's get into the first topic, and this is Mortal Kombat 1 on the Nintendo Switch. So Mortal Kombat 1 released last week officially, and it has been a blast playing this game on the PlayStation 5. People playing it on Xbox are happy, people playing it on PC are happy. Nintendo Switch, however, has been hit with a lot of criticisms as far as the fact that it's worth $70, same price as the PS5, Xbox, PC, but is running far inferior. It looks like a big old mess. It's glitchy, it's buggy. It is just in all ways the inferior version of Mortal Kombat 1, which is fine. We get that it's on a Nintendo Switch. It's amazing that it's even on there to begin with. But then you go down and you charge full retail price, the same price as the PS5 and Xbox version. It is baffling that Warner Brothers would do this, but then you understand it's Warner Brothers. Of course they're gonna do this, it's what they do. Anyways, Ed Boon, the lead director of Mortal Kombat 1 of NetherRealm Studios, has commented saying that he will go through and try to fix all this, try to make it more playable and a little bit more in parity to the other versions. I guess I'll wait till I see it, but honestly it's been kind of funny. I think a lot of people bought it knowing how bad it is and just kind of have a laugh about it. So overall, I think no harm, no foul. Again, you're getting Mortal Kombat, a PS5 game on the Nintendo Switch. If you thought this was going to be a good game, you're freaking crazy. No offense. It's going to be the Switch version of a PS5 game. It's going to be a mess. Moving on to good Nintendo news. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is coming to the GBA Game Boy Advance application on NSO, coming September 29th. If you've never played Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, this is one of the better Kirby games in my opinion. This is up there as one of my favorite Kirby games I've ever played. I absolutely love this game, and it is a huge callback to my childhood. I'm excited to see how this game runs, how it plays, and if it still holds up in 2023. Again, coming out September 29th. Definitely check it out. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got its announcement release date last week, and people have been buzzing about this game ever since that trailer, and it looks fantastic. Well, this week a lot of people had some hands-on preview with this game. A lot of media outlets were invited to go play this game, and a lot of them sang glowing praise for how well this game looks, how well it plays, how well it is the Final Fantasy VII Remake gameplay that you loved times 2 times 10, and it is freaking awesome. It's also playable at Tokyo Game Show, and again, nothing but good reception there. So this is definitely going to be an early contender for Game of the Year 2024 for me. This game looks freaking amazing, freaking fantastic, and it's going to be a great way to kick off 2024. The biggest news that happened this week is the Xbox leak, the Xbox information court documents that have leaked out to the public. And there is a lot of stuff in those documents that I won't be going over. I kind of want to touch on the things that I thought was most interesting. At least, not necessarily interesting for me, just the reaction from the audience, from consumers, fan base, etc. The first one being the fact that Elder Scrolls 6 is not coming to PlayStation 5. A lot of people were shocked by this, and I just don't see how you could be. I don't know why Microsoft would go out of the way to buy Bethesda and continue putting games out there on the PlayStation console. Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop, games like that made sense because they had already made contracts. They were already working on the PlayStation 5. It was a little too late to change course, but when we saw Redfall, Starfield, etc. move very quickly and stop PlayStation 5 development, yeah, it's safe to say that all Bethesda games will never be coming back to PlayStation. One of the biggest headlining things in these core documents was email conversation that leaked out between Phil Spencer and some heads at Microsoft, where Phil Spencer was quoted saying that he wants to buy Nintendo, and that they're trying to make moves that if one day Nintendo was ever able to be purchased, that they'd be the best people to go out there and acquire them. And a lot of people, again, were shocked by this. And I mean, it makes sense, right? When you're the biggest company, you have that much money, and you're out there acquiring studios, you want to go out there and acquire the biggest studios. That's been Xbox's move for a while, buying things like Activision, Bethesda, or ZeniMax, and it just, again, it doesn't shock me. They've tried to purchase Nintendo in the past. They've got laughed at. But it doesn't. It makes sense for me to say that, hey, you're gonna go for the big dog. You're gonna go for Nintendo if the time ever like presented itself. I think too the fact that this shocks people is just people understand, like, not paying attention to the fact that the heads of Xbox, the heads of Microsoft, do not care necessarily about the games or care about like their teams or their talent. They care about acquiring people to just do the job and make them the money. And for them to get kind of like a kick off of acquiring these studios, these publishers. Phil Spencer said it would be a highlight career moment if he could go out there and actually acquire Nintendo. The only thing out of these documents that kind of had my interest, that kind of got me a little excited, was the new console revision that Xbox is working on. Xbox currently has the Series S and the Series X. Phil Spencer has come out saying that there is going to be no like console refresh, there's going to be no redesign, nothing like that. What we have in the S and X is essentially what we're going to be getting. Well, this doesn't appear to be the whole truth, or at least as far as the documents are concerned, where they have what's called Project Brooklyn, which is going to be like similar to the S, where it's like all digital, no disc, but have stronger power than the X. So it's essentially merging both of them and pulling what they believe the consumers is going to want. Discless, very, very strong Xbox console that'll probably make the other two like de facto consoles, in my opinion, because this is what Xbox has been working towards since the Xbox One era, is getting consumers completely on board with the whole like all digital future. This is the game plan behind Game Pass, behind getting rid of the discs, etc. I don't care, because again, if you have Xbox console and you're purchasing games, it's weird if you're, especially if you're purchasing first party games. Third party games, I get it, but first party physical games, when they're available on Game Pass and will remain on Game Pass for the time being, for essentially forever, I don't see a reason really why you would want to go out there and buy Xbox games. But hey, to each their own. So honestly, stronger Xbox Series S is kind of what I'm looking at the market for right now. Either that or just a PC. Phil Spencer has come out and responded to these leaks, and he did say that this was once upon a time the plan, that this isn't the plan anymore, and that staff and consumers should look forward to like what their actual plans will be. But I find it hard to believe that these plans are too different. If we don't get a stronger like Brooklyn console or like a stronger controller, I don't know what else they would really be working on hardware wise. And like, it just makes sense that they want a stronger console. And it's very, very hard to believe that the current console that we have from Xbox isn't going to get some kind of redesign or some kind of like mid-gen refresh. It's just what these consoles do. Xbox did it back on the 360 with the Elite. Xbox One had their like next-gen refresh console, whatever. So it just makes sense that they'll also do it with this generation as well. RGG Studios did hold like another like conference showcasing their two big Like a Dragon games coming out. Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, with a release date for Infinite Wealth coming out January 26, 2024. Freaking fantastic. Let's freaking go. This game looks phenomenal. The only thing that has me cautious is the fact that The Man Who Erased His Name releases in November, giving us like 2 months maybe to beat that game and then get into Infinite Wealth. That is going to be a very, very short window. I am down to try to get it done in time for Infinite Wealth, because this game looks fantastic. And you know what? 2024 is already shaping up to be a fantastic year. I'm very excited. Capcom held a very lackluster presentation at Tokyo Game Show, but Capcom is one of those companies that always has very, very lackluster presentations. I honestly think they should kind of stop doing them just because they don't really have a lot to showcase sometimes. Or they have the games, they just don't really know how to showcase them. Or make questionable decisions with some of their games. But overall, Capcom is, doing amazing things with their games. So whatever it takes, if I have to get these bad presentations to get these amazing games, I'd rather have that than the opposite. Well, what do they really showcase? Dragon Dogma 2 is got a new gameplay trailer, and this game looks fantastic. It's somewhat slated to be releasing in 2024, and I'm very excited to give this game a shot. It looks fantastic. The world, the scenery, the gameplay. I was a fan of the first Dragon's Dogma, so I'm definitely excited to play this one. Besides that, there wasn't really much like hype around a lot of stuff at Capcom's. They had like the Ace Attorney games, like release date coming out and announcement coming that is coming to Game Pass. They had a Monster Hunter like mobile game announced, which pissed kind of a lot of people off, seeing how this was Monster Hunter's 20th anniversary, and a lot of people were speculating Monster Hunter 6 to be announced. I mean, you can't get mad at them for not announcing it because you were the ones who kind of said they were going to announce it, and they didn't. So they never said they were going to announce it or talk about it, really. But it is the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter, a franchise that has grown exponentially in recent years. So you should do more, I think, for a franchise this large. But hey, the year's not over, and there's still time for Monster Hunter 6 at maybe Game Awards. Ubisoft announced that they are working on Division 3, and I think a lot of people were taken back by this. Not necessarily that Division 3 was announced, because that is to be expected, I think. This is kind of one of their tentpole franchises like Assassin's Creed. So it makes sense that obviously they're making another Division game. The way they announced it, though, definitely took a lot of people off guard, where they didn't really show a trailer, they didn't really show a presentation, nothing like that. They kind of just stated that they have a team working on this game, and they really highlighted more of the talent and the people behind the game than actually the game. And I mean, I'm not against it. I definitely think it makes sense for you to focus in on the people who make Ubisoft special. So if you have the talent, put them front and center. Build them up as these people that are like legacy defining, genre defining type people in the industry, so people stop associating Ubisoft with like mid to like not good games. So overall, I'm excited that they're working on another Division, because I know there's a growing fan base within the Division. There is also a fan base that has felt that the Division is very stagnant, and they haven't really like given it the proper care that I think the fan bases would like. Embracer Group, the company that bought all the companies, is at it again. They've closed down studios. They've been looking to sell off some of the other studios, and now Crystal Dynamics, one of the studios underneath the Embracer Group, is feeling the effects of Embracer Group's bad business decisions, where a good amount of the team at Crystal Dynamics, at the team that developed things like the Tomb Raider series, have received huge layoffs. And it just sucks to see this. The fact that week after week after week, one of Embracer Studios is either being closed, being laid off, trying to be sold away, stuff like that. That I think Embracer needs to like refigure how they're gonna like make their splash in the gaming industry the way they did, the way they thought they were going to, by purchasing all these companies. Spiderman 2 has officially gone gold, and this just makes sense. It's the time to get ready for this game. I am excited. There's not really much to say except for the fact that this game looks phenomenal, and I really like the video trailer where they got the cast to really hype up the game. I really like that way of announcing that they win gold. I feel like Insomniac is very, very confident that Spider-Man 2 is a banger of a title. This might be the game that elevates Insomniac beyond just the workhorse like game studios, because right now Insomniac is known for making really, really great games at really, really rapid fire, but none of them hit the same as like a Santa Monica or like a Naughty Dog level game. So I feel like Spider-Man 2 is their chance to reach Last of Us, God of War echelon status within PlayStation Studios, beyond just the workhorse like optics that we think of Insomniac as. Criterion, the team that bring us all the Need for Speed games, is shifting a huge part of the development team to work on the next Battlefield game. I'm iffy. I feel like Need for Speed isn't in a great place right now. Unbound was fine for me. I liked the game, but a lot of people didn't really mess with it the same way that, like, I think we messed with Carbon or Most Wanted. So it wasn't that like return to like the top echelon of like street racing games that Need for Speed really deserves. And Battlefield, another game that is definitely not hitting the way that it used to. So I don't, not that Criterion doesn't have the talent to make these games. I just think that maybe we need to like go back to like the drawing board, refigure out what's working, what doesn't work, and come out with some better titles that these like franchises really deserve. So I mean, I'm hopeful that Criterion could be the one to bring Battlefield back to prominence, but Battlefield has stooped so low that I don't know if there really is a coming back from that. But hey, here's hoping Criterion has what it takes to get it done. The last topic that I want to touch on before we close out this video is the whole Unity like controversy that's been going on since like last week, where they're changing the way they're going to monetize their systems. That was really going to hurt a lot of independent devs that really don't have the money to like afford the Unity new style of rollout, as well as just the controversy between how they were going to like record some of the data, how they were going to retrieve it. A lot of stuff going on behind Unity that was really like, again, controversial. Well, Unity at this point right now, from when I'm recording, have made a statement saying, you know, they apologize. They bullet pointed a couple notes, stuff that I think overall makes some people happier, but it wasn't really like a full-on like, this is what we're doing 100%, to completely re-change and re-put the trust in the minds of the consumers, the developers, etc. They do have like a conference later today scheduled. Hopefully they can do justice by not just like pulling back a lot of these like controversial business marketing plans, but also reinforcing trust from the developers who really look to Unity as kind of like the engine for the indie games. So I'm hoping, again, Unity has what it takes to really like apologize, and not just apologize, but go above and beyond to, again, reinforce that trust. Well, that's gonna do it for this weekly gaming news highlights video. Do me a favor, let me know down below what you guys found interesting, if anything at all. Go out there, have a great weekend, go out there, play some games, and I'll see you guys on the next video.